anxious.
While Carney welcomes the Venezuela competition, Trump has announced that he's bringing 50 million barrels of Venezuela's oil to the U.S. At 8:30, surprise, surprise, we are joined by none other than Dr. Sylvain Charlebois, aka the food professor, to speak about RFK Jr.'s new food guideline and how they compare to Canada. My name is Nicole Hagen, and I'm too conservative for the conservatives. My co-host Rob Ambrose, not woke enough for the liberals. We are the political orphans. So let's get started because we are late, but let's get started. And I want to ask the
Yes.
people listening their opinion because for sure everybody has an opinion on that one. And I'm not sure myself. I saw the video and I'm like, hot damn. So before we get into Trump,
the shooting in ice. Yeah.
yeah. So before we get into what Trump is doing and we welcome our guests at 8:30, we need to speak about the shooting, the ICE officer fatally shooting a woman in Minneapolis today. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
mayor of Minneapolis is, the mayor of Minneapolis is calling it bullshit. Trump is saying it was warranted.
I feel like it's somewhere between. I feel like it's somewhere. Yeah, we'll watch it first and then we'll talk.
You have the video, right?
Yeah.
Don't say it. Don't say it. Just play the video for now. Let's just play the video. But I want to ask you guys in the audience, if you're watching live, let us know right now in the comment section. If you're watching this later on, you're watching the replay, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section because this one, I'm only talking about it because everybody's going to have an opinion. Everybody's going to have an opinion. So let's watch it.
Yeah. It's good. It's good content. Okay.
Oh shit. This is lagging something crazy, bro.
Oh, do you guys have sound?
Yeah, but it's super slow. Literally looks like we're on a dial-up connection from the 90s.
Yeah, I think they...
Yeah, I think your whole internet is, I don't know if it's me. We can't hear anything you're saying, man. Like I can't understand anything you're saying, so... Yeah. So it's not just me. Nobody can hear what you're saying. Yeah, so hold on.
Yeah.
I'll bring it up on...
I mean, yeah, bring it up. It's a bit choppy. See if you can bring it up on yours. If not, I'm sure most people have seen it, but it is good to play it first.
No. We need to play it. For some reason, I just installed new RAM in my brand new laptop, and it seems to make my laptop lag. But I'm gonna bring it up my other laptop. I'm just hooking it up right now. So pow.
Okay.
Oh, it's fine.
Clips that were cut down to like... The clips that were cut down to like 5 seconds is all you need. It's really just a 5-second clip that's everything that you'd want to see.
The 26-second one, like I have a 26-second one right here. That one is worth showing. Yeah, I'm loading it up right now. I'm just running on my second machine.
I feel like it's a confluence of a lot of bad factors, even down to like the ice on the road. I think made it like... I think she tried to move a little, and then got it. We'll watch it first.
Yeah, we'll see. I just want to make sure. Oh, there you go. There's volume, so let's see it. I guess CNN's lagging. Oh, that's nice. What the hell, man?
Oh, there it is. Seems to lag when it's large screen. When you put it up. Yeah,
that is
try
so
it just like
stupid.
that. Yeah, that is.
Hold
Just
on, let me
hit
refresh
the
it.
yeah.
I understand how the internet works. It's okay, bro. I just think there's a problem. There you go.
Yep. So he goes up to talk to her.
No!
Yep.
No! Shame! Shame!
But there was a
Oh.
third guy, right? And you don't.
Yeah.
So if you go back, you see the first guy is. Holy shit!
One
What
of
the
them.
hell's
One of
going
them.
on?
One of them's grabs on the side, and I don't know if he
And
gets
that's not the
stuck in it.
same guy. But that's not the
No, that's
same
not the one who
guy
did
that
the shooting.
shoots, right?
No, that's not
No.
the one who
So
did the shooting. I
if you
feel
pay
like the one who did the
attention, so the
shooting.
guy. No, but the guy
Yeah,
is
he
already
grabs.
there. He's behind.
Yeah,
The guy that
he
grabs is not the guy that shoots.
no, he was on the front. The guy who did the shooter was in
Yeah.
front of the car, and there's the grabber. But I think the shooter thought he was protecting the grabber. I think he thought he was maybe trapped or locked in. You don't think?
No. If you look at the video, I found some high quality video and I was able to slow it down. He was about to go. He had to do this. Like you see him do this and move his foot out of the way so he doesn't get his foot ran over. So that's why he shoots. So as he pulls off, like he removes his foot, he takes the gun out and he starts shooting. So we've seen the video. We've seen this tendency nowadays, I think, because we need to agree with this, that there seemed to be a massive lack of respect versus the ICE agent in the US right now. Because there's so many videos of just people grabbing their guns, grabbing their weapons, and like, I don't know what the fuck people are thinking right now. If you have a police officer, an ICE agent, agree with them or not, it's irrelevant. If they're an officer of the law, like them or not, if you try to run one over or close to running one over, you're in trouble. And that girl died. Like, she got fatally shot.
Yeah.
And he didn't mess around. It was like pop, 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 and he's done. But it was 3-4. It sounded, at least, it's hard to tell when you're just on video, but it sounded like 3-4 shots.
Yep. I think.
So what do you guys think? What do you guys think?
You could see she was parked weirdly, right? She parked on the side. So right away, I think she's fucking around. I think
she wasn't on the side. No. She's not on the side. She's literally covering half of the street. She's sideways.
Yeah.
Like the street's like this.
She knew that was ICE. She knew that was ICE, and she is an activist, right? I think she thought, it's not a coincidence that there was someone that perfectly positioned with a camera. She probably had someone filming it. Right, she thought it'd be good video to post to TikTok, and I think it's unfortunate.
Good point.
But like you said, you got to understand the context ICE is in right now. They're getting pressure from everywhere, and there's people, like you said, grabbing their guns, just constantly harassing these guys, much more so than any other cop right now. And that's got to put you on extreme edge, right? So you're on extreme edge already. And maybe if this is just city cops doing a traffic stop, the cops are not on a trigger finger like that. They're not on an edge. And maybe this doesn't happen. It's hard to say it's entire, at first glance, it does seem a little excessive. But when you consider the fact of the mindset that all ICE agents are in because of the constant harassment that these left activists are putting on them, you can understand why they're not fucking around, why they're not taking any chances. And at the end of the day, the person chose to put a vehicle like that. She chose to slam on the gas like that. I think it's unfortunate. I don't think she deserved to die. But I think given the context, you got to say the responsibility falls on her.
And man, I'm looking at the comment section. It's basically everybody is like, you know what? Basically, I'm going to paraphrase what people are saying. Fuck around and find out. That's basically what everybody is saying in the comment section. And you know what? Was it justified or not? I don't even care if it was. You did something wrong. You did not respect the authority.
She put herself in that position.
No matter what, you looked for it. Was it a bit extreme? Maybe. But one thing that I've learned, especially having been in fights myself, unless you're there trying to defend yourself, unless you're in the line of fire or you're the one that's being attacked. I'm not going to judge somebody's response to it if I'm not there, if I wasn't present, because you don't know how it feels to be right there, because a truck is a massive weapon. Most people don't understand that, right? They're just, oh, he just accelerated. Yeah, hold on here. If that guy fell to the ground, she ran him over, he could have died. And that's an attack on a federal officer. So however you feel about it, she fucked around and she found out. Now, is it extreme? Yes. Is something going to happen to that guy? No. Fuck no. Trump already came out and said, so. Hold on. No. He's, I got, hold on. I got his post. I got his post somewhere. Hold on. Let me bring it up. Because of course, like you got to remember too, if you're the agent standing right in front of the parked car, clearly we could see the steering wheel was turned to the right because the car went that way. But that's only obvious in retrospect. That's only obvious because of what direction the car went. If you're standing 2 feet in front of the car and you see extreme acceleration, you're not going to know that the steering wheel is put to the right until for about a second or two. And if it was headed straight at you, that's too late, right? You can't fuck around with that shit. No, I completely agree with you. So basically, hold on, here's Trump's post. So Trump's basically saying, I have just viewed the clip of the event which took place in Minneapolis. It is a horrible thing to watch. The woman screaming was obviously a professional agitator, and the woman driving the car was very disoriented, obstructing and resisting, who then violently, willingly, and viciously ran over the ICE officer who seemed to have shot her in self-defense. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe that he's alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. The situation is being studied in its entirety. So basically, there's nothing. See, but the reason these incidents keeps happening is because of the radical left is threatening, assaulting, and targeting our law enforcement officers and ICE agents on a daily basis. They are just trying to do their job of making America safe. We need to stand by and protect our law enforcement officer from this radical left movement of violence and hate. So I think he's a federal officer, and that is somebody that Trump could pardon. You know what I mean? So if he's brought up on federal charges, that dude's walking. That dude is walking. Like it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear.
I don't think anything will happen to him. I just want to quickly take this comment. Penny says,
but hold on, before you do, I suggest to people to go watch what the mayor of Minneapolis said. And he basically said on air, this is bullshit. As in, this was not right at all. Yes, he literally said this is bullshit on air. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's worth going to watch. Yeah.
Penny says, careful what you support, boys. This could come home to bite. No one should support this power trip. I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I don't see it as a power trip. Even if you could, I think you could make an argument it was excessive, but I think it was in the moment instinctive behavior excessive. I don't think this was, a power tripping ICE agent going around just murdering people. I think given the context of all the pressure ICE is facing, which they should not be, even if you could call this killing unjustified, I don't think it like I said, you can make that argument. I don't think you can make the argument this rises to criminal excessive force or anything like that.
And Penny, the thing that I will agree with her is that I don't want the government to have the power to willingly killing people left, right, and center because they don't agree with their political stances, right? I don't want that. I don't want the government to have that type of power.
That's not what this is.
There's parts of Trump's message saying we need to obey and respect law enforcement. Hold on here. There's time that law enforcement is wrong, and that happens often, but there's times that they're right, and there's time like this where it doesn't really matter. The woman stepped on the gas when a guy was telling her to stop and to get out the vehicle. He's literally strapped on the truck, and she almost ran over another guy. So is it warranted or not? I'm not sure, but I like what you said because I didn't think about it. I didn't think about the fact of how perfectly set up she was, and there was somebody on her phone perfectly filming everything. It seems like a setup. That's a good point.
Well, to that point here, what Sheridan says, what was the probable cause for the traffic stop? If there's not one, someone lost their life entirely. No, they did not. That was not a traffic stop. They stopped intentionally to because they knew ICE was coming up behind them, and this woman intentionally stopped to impede ICE. So there
was a raid going on. They were going after someone to remove them from that neighborhood. She parked her car in the middle of the street, and they moved her. That's the information we have up to now.
That's what the ICE agents were going up to her to say, get the fuck out of here, move your vehicle. Yep. She took off like she did. There happened to be an ICE agent in front of her who probably felt an immediate threat. Which again, you hear that squeal, right? That's all you need to hear. You're not going to assess, is she turning right or is she coming straight? By the time you figured it out, you'd be cooked. So, I think the fact that she put herself in that position makes a difference. That's one that I think a lot of people don't understand how much ICE is getting harassed. It's not just the grabbing of guns and yelling. There are actually groups, I guess they're Antifa associated, and they're going around in like unmarked trucks that they buy for this purpose and smashing into ICE as they drive. Like this is happening in a lot of these cities. So, that is the context that these guys are operating under. And in that context, it's hard not to put most of the blame on the person who put themselves in that position to impede an ICE operation and then squeal out of there with an ICE agent standing right in front of her.
However you feel about this, I think we can agree on the sentiment that's been growing, especially from the left, where they do really dumb shit and somehow they're surprised by the consequences of their actions. Like a lot of people are doing really dumb actions. Like I was watching a video of a small protest where people are asked to disperse, and one of the guys grabbed the guy's gun. Lucky for him, it wasn't a real gun. It was a gas, like it was just to throw gas in people's face, and he got sprayed right there. But all to say, people feel that they can grab on others. Like, forget the fact that it's police. If I'm in the street with my family and you think that you can put your hands on me and there won't be any consequences to your actions, you have a very hard life lesson coming your way, because I will not allow you to touch me. If you put your hands on me and you don't have good intentions, I'm knocking your ass out cold, and I don't ask any fucking questions. So imagine if you're a police officer. Imagine if you're somebody that works for the federal law enforcement, like ICE, for example. So as much as I don't necessarily I think it was a bit excessive, but like I said earlier, it's very hard for us to say that it was excessive when we weren't there. Like, there's nothing worse than a judge in a self-defense case that said, oh, you should have shot her in the knee. Motherfucker, please. Do you know how hard it is to shoot? There's a good reason you shoot center mass, because it's center mass, it's big, you have less chances of missing. But that guy seemed like it was a good shot, though. Just saying, he didn't see. Like,
I think
I don't want to laugh at this because it's not funny somebody died, but that guy wasn't fucking around either. He didn't hesitate to take that gun out and it pop, 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 and it's done. You see the car crash into another car afterwards. That woman died right there, or at least she was unconscious.
I think, I think it feels the same way. I think it was probably excessive, but I think given the context, everything, I think it was understandably excessive. One thing, like to Penny's comment about like, and I think he would say something like, of course we don't want government going around shooting people or murdering them because of ideology or anything to do with politics or beliefs or anything. If there was any sense that this shooting was like ordered or coming from government orders, that they should just not take any shit and shoot everyone you see who tries to cause any problem, I would be firmly against that. Like, I'm thinking like a Kent State shooting, back in like the 70s or the late 60s, when the National Guard was called out to riots at Kent State. They opened fire on students, and you could tell that was ordered, right? They were told not to take shit from these kids, and so they murdered a bunch of them. that would be a different thing. This is a guy who's fucking spooked because there's a car squealing at him from 2 feet away. This is not an order from higher up. This is not any form of government policy. This is a guy who's on edge because ICE agents have been harassed just trying to do their jobs, a job that the American people broadly support.
Again, I think this is the perfect situation describing fuck around and find out.
Yeah. Don't put yourself in that situation.
And I'd have to re-listen to the video because I thought it was 3, but if it is indeed 2, this is perfect. It's textbook. No, but this is textbook. When we get training, it's double tap. You pop in case the first miss. Plus, if you're putting another one center mass, it's fine. See, that's what I thought, Trevor. He's saying 3, which the third is weird because I've been trained on double tap, right? Pop on any target. I heard 3 too, but it's often hard to hear when you're just listening to a video, right? You weren't there, you didn't see. I'd like to see how many bullets are left in the mag, but yeah, that's the perfect description of fuck around and find out.
Yeah. If we could do you want to take a couple of the responses here because it looks like people.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about what Trump is doing for the oil and gas, but we'll talk. Let's take some comments until Sylvain, the food professor, shows up. I don't think it's gonna last half an hour either way, so I'll probably more go like 20 minutes. So we'll have another 20 to cover the other story I wanted to talk about. So no worries.
Yep, sounds good. Will says, "Shit, man, it's a split-second decision." So clearly he supports it. Trevor says she's a paid protester. She's not from around there. Also. Yeah, I mean, the thing is people will say, "Oh, it doesn't matter why she was there," blah blah blah. But
she's there as
a professional agitator. She's gonna be approaching that situation with a certain attitude that the ICE agents are going to be very familiar with immediately, and that's going to have an effect on how on edge they are. Right? They're going to understand that this person is not just there as a regular civilian. Right? They're there to cause problems, and so. When you know that about someone and then you're standing a foot in front of their car and it squeals because they just hit the gas, I mean, that's when shit happens. That's when shit goes wrong. These guys do only have a second or two. Prairie says,
I agree,
fucking
man.
Right. Yeah, Prairie says, fucking right. There's many times they're wrong. Oh, yeah, but yeah, for sure. And I think you're saying, do you more or less agree with this one or think this is fine? But like, you've got to be vigilant, of course. If there are lots of times when government or police or what have you, federal agents do use excessive force, and we need to be able to look at this as a case by case basis. Will says ICE is on fire all the time, split second decisions. Yeah, I mean that's kind of my mindset as well.
It's really one of those situations. I've said it multiple times. I'll say it again. Fuck around, find out. As much as I think it was a bit excessive, I will never say that he was wrong for what he did because I wasn't there and she did something very stupid. Very, very dumb.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And nothing else. She should not have put herself in that position. Watkins says they ordered her out of the car 3 times. She put it in reverse and then pulled it back in the drive and went right at the agent. Yeah. And again, in retrospect, we're able to see that she was clearly had her steering wheel to the right because the car did go that way away from the agent, but he would not have known that for a second or two. All he would hear is that noise. He knows he's standing directly in front of it by a foot or two. She very well could have been aimed right at him. And by the time he realizes that she's not turning, it's too late.
It's all on her. At the end of the day, that's 100% on her. Just that video. I don't need more context than that video to understand, to know that this was stupid. That 4-second, 5-second split she did there was so stupid that he has all the excuses in the world to do what he did, even if it sounds very, very over the top.
Yes, exactly. Trevor says she made the choice when she hit the gas.
100%.
Casey Willis says he was wrong and should be charged, and that's a fair point. I mean, some people are definitely going to have that take. I could even maybe, I don't agree with it. I could understand an argument that it was excessive in the moment, Maybe that could be a persuasive argument if made correctly. But I don't think there's any way you can persuasively argue he should be charged or that that's a criminal offense.
Yeah, Casey, I'd like to know why. I'd like to know why. Why do you think he was wrong? Because I think she was wrong.
Yeah. Watkins says there's a video from the reverse angle. It shows it all. She hit him. He was bouncing off the car. Well, I mean, if that's the case, then there's nothing ambiguous at all. There was nothing wrong with that whatsoever. If he was hit by the car, then yeah, that's as open and shut as you can get.
Yep. Food professor ready to go? Thumbs up. Yeah. So last minute, I reached out to friend of the show, Dr. Sylvain Charlebois, aka the food professor, to come on the show and to speak about the massive day that is today for MAHA, Make America Healthy Again, and RFK Jr. releasing his new Eat Real Food Dietary Guidelines. It's being described as a 180 turn from the Obama era My Plate guidelines. But what really interests me, and the reason why the food professor is joining us, is I want to see how it compares to Canada, because it is a massive, massive difference. Monsieur Sylvain Charlebois, bonjour.
Good day, sir.
Bonne année. Happy New Year.
Yeah,
Happy New Year.
Great to see you again.
You guys are non-stop. I actually was watching you over the days. My goodness. Did you rest a little?
We're like the Energizer Bunny.
No, yeah.
Keeps going. Keeps going.
And you know what? Yeah. One of the things that Rob and I have in common is that we're both very muscular, right? We both take our health seriously. We both work out. We both eat right. So I'm a fan of RFK Jr. Love the guy or not. Seeing a guy with a six-pack.
Very happy with the news today.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because, you know, he's in his 70s. He's still jacked. He still works out. I'm like, to me, if I'm going to take advice from someone on health, I want that person to look like him, or at least be in shape, not be obese, right? And I was looking at
be healthy, or at least healthy. At least healthy.
Yeah, be healthy. You don't need to be muscular. You don't need to go to the gym, but you need to be. You know, back in the 70s, you look at videos like movies from the 70s, 80s, and prior to that, everybody was kind of skinny. Like nobody was really overweight. Like the vast majority of people were eating properly. They walked everywhere. You don't need to hit the gym and be muscular. That's not the point. But you should have a good body health. You should take care of your body and eat properly. And I made a little montage here. Well, you know what? Give us your thoughts, your impressions of Eat Real Food. I love the name, by the way. Eat Real Food.
Yeah. What a concept. Yeah. What a concept.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, basically, I think there's a couple of things. First of all, thank you for inviting me back. I really enjoy our chats, especially in the evenings, because, you know, your day is done and you want to lay it all out.
Yeah, it's great.
No holds bars. It's great. I'd say, I mean, when the news came out today, I thought, okay, there's a lot of things going on here. So obviously, to your point, Nico, I do think that the MAHA movement is all about authenticity, natural foods, going back to the basics sort of thing. And he basically reversed the food pyramid on its head, essentially saying, you know what, this is probably something that we need to consider. Animal proteins are now back with a vengeance. And I personally agree with that approach. I think it's important to recognize that animal proteins do play a big role, not only on our plates, but in the environment. Really, you need livestock to maintain a balanced ecosystem, and that kind of got lost after a while, listening to many activists, starting with the former environment minister, who I've met a couple of times but never agreed with, Stephen Guilbeault. He was a radical and was completely against meat consumption generally speaking, because he felt that it was
Wow.
a betrayal towards the environment. And so I think the MAHA movement is really thinking beyond that, above that, and is looking at just like what is science saying, but what do we need to honor? What do we need to do? And I think the message we got today from RFK Jr. and the MAHA movement is that, yes, dietary science is important, but at the end of the day, if all countries around the world, and this is important what I'm about to say, if all countries around the world were to follow dietary sciences right now, everyone would eat the same thing. Same thing. That's basically what science is all about, right? Science will tell you our best path forward for our health. But when it comes to food, you have to celebrate, culture, topography, geography, traditions, and things like that. Canada is an animal protein producer. It's important to recognize that. And I do think there are lessons to be learned here with what happened today.
So here's a little montage that I did to compare both. And I'm kind of an asshole. I actually put pictures of the people that are pushing the agenda. So just so you know, at the bottom left, obviously this is RFK Jr. This is our health minister, the obese black woman. Sorry, but Marjorie Michel is her name. So I like to have fun with my stuff, so I added that. But on the left, you see this is RFK Jr.'s Eat Real Food. And as you were explaining, you look at the top, he completely reversed the traditional pyramid scheme that we used to see in school when we were young. He flipped it on his head.
At the top, basically, literally. Yeah.
Yeah. So at the top, it's all source protein. It's all protein sources, all meat. It's basically all meat products, fish products. And that's the big difference. So on the right side, you have the Canadian version. And while RFK Jr. is promoting eating red meat, eggs, something that, we haven't heard about in years, which anybody that takes care of themselves understand that you need good fats, understand that beef is not your enemy, either is eggs. But look on the right side. The big difference is that the source of protein in Canada, we emphasize plant-based proteins like beans and tofu. And I was a vegan for a very long time. Like I was vegan for
I didn't know.
4 or 5 years. Yeah, most people don't know, but I've only been eating meat for about 1.5 2 years now. For 12 years, for almost 12 years, I was either a vegetarian or I was a vegan. And I literally weigh 30 pounds more muscle than I was when I was a vegan. Like it's not good for you. I did it for spiritual reasons, not because it was good for me, but all to say, what do you think about that? Just on
well,
actually us and them, right?
Sorry, Rob, you wanted to say something?
I was just gonna say, like, what's your initial, as you see those two things? I know they're not like there's no like specific amounts or ratios, but you can eyeball it and make a pretty good guess. What do you think?
No, hold on. No, but those are the ratios. That's why he inverted it. He's basically saying more meat, more vegetables, and less grain. Yeah. That's why he reversed it. And on the right side, it's literally Canada, and they're saying half your plate should be fruits and vegetable, a quarter should be.
There's very little.
There's basically yes. It's like there's a quarter of an egg somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that should be a quarter of your plate should be meat protein sources, and they emphasize plant-based. And then you have a fourth of your plate that should be some type of grain.
When the new food guy. Yeah, when the new food guy was introduced in 2019, if you recall, when we had the 4 food groups, the drink of choice was milk. They actually changed that to water. So that was a big deal then. I remember going on Tout le monde en parle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Tout le monde en parle. So I was invited to actually talk about this when it was introduced with the Minister of Health, Jeanette Petitpas-Taylor. She was the Minister of Health then. So her and I went on Tout le monde en parle. And my message at the time, that was 7 years ago, I guess now, is the same as today. I mean, this scientifically, this guide is consistent. I mean, it's consistent with the science, but it's not Canadian. It's just not Canadian. And when you look at, first of all, when you look at half the plate being veggies, that costs a lot of money. And so I did talk to Minister Fitzpatrick after the show and ask her, did her department ever considered looking at the cost to follow the new guide versus the old guide? And her answer was no. They never actually even considered the cost to follow the new guide versus the old. And to me, inflation, I mean, food prices are a big deal. If you actually recommend to people, and by the way, the food guide is the most downloaded government document we have in this country. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it's the number after our tax forms, of course. After our tax forms, the food guide is the number one document downloaded from the Canadian government's website. So it's heavily documented. Like, a lot of people follow this guide, or at least teach with it. And to me, to tell people to follow a certain diet without knowing how they'll be impacted financially was a problem. And so we did that work for them after the fact, only to realize that the new food guide did cost more than the old one. So that's one thing. But going back to the US, I think fundamentally RFK's approach is simply this compared to Canada. In Canada, okay, the focus is very much about outcomes, not outcomes, but in terms of what actually is happening in the food industry. So they'll label things like processing and meat and animal proteins and things like that. In the US, since RFK has been in power last year, his focus is very much about dieting, lifestyle. I mean, those are things you hear a lot with Health Canada. You don't hear food guide with lifestyle. And the other issue with RFK is that he's made ingredients his enemy: sugar, sodium, additives like red number 3, for example.
Yeah,
I mean, those are problems we have in Canada. And despite the food guide we have, we're still trying to resolve these problems right now. So while in the US, they're basically targeting actual real problems they have in Canada, it's all about ideology.
And that's what's interesting, because as someone that's been dieting for 20 years, that's always been very careful. I read every single ingredients of what I eat. I'm fully aware. If I have a cheat meal, I normally make it, and I'll know the ingredients. I know that what I'm about to eat is not good for me, but
so
it's going to be good in the mouth.
You've never eaten sausages?
That's a trick question. Which type of sausage are we talking about here? Yeah, I am French after all, right?
You can really taste the snout and the hoof.
No.
I really like
but
like
the thing is, like,
so think about a pork, like a hog. They'll take bacon and faux filet and all those parts. Everything else,
grinded.
That's probably in your sausage.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is that it's just refreshing to see a guy that thinks the way I do, that I've been thinking for 20 years. Like a guy that actually wants to take care of his health. And it's not just something he does every now and then, or in January of every month, like right now being the craziest time of the year because everybody wants to be healthy, but they realize how hard it is. It's just good to see a guy, because I look at that pyramid, to me makes 100. That's basically how I eat: more meat, more vegetable, less grain, no processed food. I don't eat the processed sugars. And one of the things that he removed is low-cal sweeteners. He actually specifically said to be careful about those fake sweeteners.
Like, he's focusing on additives, and that to me it tells me that that's his enemy right there. What we're putting in actual real food. So he's been quite clear about this since day one. In Canada, like, we're targeting like when we talk about ultra processed foods, what really people are saying is that we're pointing fingers at a sector, an economic sector. You guys are giving Canadians poison instead of saying to those companies, you know what? We have a problem here. The food that we get is not necessarily great, so let's make it great, and let's actually secure your existence by providing Canadians with good, real food. That's not what's going on in Canada. In Canada, we're targeting enemies that are part of the economy. That's not what Trump and RFK are doing.
That's
Yeah,
clever.
like there's, I see what you're saying.
Because
So how
processing,
much do you,
I mean, right now, I go on stage and talk to different folks, and as soon as you say processing, people feel, oh my God, that's poison. I mean, processing is part of the food economy. Farmers will farm wheat, canola, barley, and will produce hogs, will produce cattle, all these stuff. All of these commodities require some form of processing. And so right now, a lot of people in Canada say, well, if it's ultra processed, it's not good for me. Not exactly. Processing actually exists for a reason. And I think that RFK's, I'd say, regime or mantra is all about honoring all nodes of the supply chain and making it better for the consumer.
Sylvain, so you work with a lot of the the politicians and the people who you have
Well, I try
interactions with
to
people who
try to.
yeah.
They don't listen.
Yes, and you obviously are have interactions with the people who come up with these food guides. Just in your opinion, this is obviously this can't be a hard number, but just in your opinion, how much of the food guide is dictated by politics and ideology? Like, for example, saying no food, no meat or low meat, if the reason is because of the environment, that's a political reason. That's not a health reason. How much do you think of this is dictated by politics and ideology, and how much by actual nutrition?
Well, it's a great question. I'd say, I mean, when you look at the Canadian Food Guide, when Health Canada tells me that there was little or no intervention from industry to design the new guide, I actually believe them. But here's the problem. The problem is that the food guide became an environmental tool. So basically, all of a sudden, you were starting to convince Canadians that you need to eat lentils, not just for you, but for the environment. And that's when they went sideways, in my view. Okay. Because you can't mix both. At least from a food guide perspective, which is probably arguably the most important food policy we have in Canada, because it influences institutions, hospitals, everything, really, senior homes. It's really darn important, and you can't really mix both, in my view. It has to remain pure. So the American announcement today, I actually think that there's probably was more industry influence, but honestly, and this may actually be a little bit controversial, what I'm about to say, I have no problem seeing industry being consulted because they know what the hell's going on. They know the implications of changing the food guide. They know what's possible, what's not possible. The only thing is that you need to keep them as honest as possible, and that's why you need academics. With Canada in 2019, they went all academic. It was all academic, and 13 people were involved. 13 people were involved in designing food guide. I published with 3 of them. And I can tell you, these people are incredibly competent in their fields. They know their stuff, but they were all like-minded. They all thought the same. They came from the same school. And when you have a groupthink phenomena happening, you end up with the food guide we have today.
One of the things that I find interesting, and they don't really address, at least not on their pictures, like the pictures that I showed earlier, is not only the split, because the split, you can kind of figure it out just by looking at the pictures of what you should eat, like compare meat, vegetables, and a grain, for example. But one of the things they rarely talk about is quantity. Because as someone, like, I'm a big guy and I fast all the time. Yesterday, I ate once during my day. I do that all the time. If I don't have the time, I just eat once and that's it. Today,
When
I've
do you
ate
train?
once.
When do you train?
Normally in the morning. It depends. Now that I have a young son, I'm trying to go before everybody wakes up. I'll go to the gym at
Screw's
5.
diets are like your living environment. I mean, kids and
Yep.
all that, and travel. I mean, I travel a lot, and I'm not traveling this week, but travel is tough on diets. I got to tell you.
Yep, 100%. I
Oh,
was
yeah.
a sales guy, so
Brutal.
I was always on the road. But what I was
It's
going to
hard
say
to
is
be
that
disciplined. Yeah.
they don't address the quantity factor because they show you what you should eat, what your split should be, but they don't really tell you that a regular person should eat around 2,000 calories a day.
Yeah.
That's not a lot.
Well,
Like what people think,
when
that's
they
not
had
a
the
lot of
four
food.
food groups, they did that, and the group when they got together to design a new food guide, they felt it was too complicated, and it
Oh, yeah, of course.
wasn't really adaptable to someone's appetite. Okay, and that's why they went with proportions instead of portions. That's the call they made back in 2019. So they just let go of quantities, as you're mentioning. They just went with proportions. So your plate can be, it can be 2 meters wide. Okay. But half that plate has to be filled with vegetables and fruits. That's the call they made.
So let me ask you this. This is the final question I have for you today, but do you think that Canada's due to redo their food guide and following a bit in the step of RFK Jr. is something that we should do?
Well, so first of all, when they introduced the food guide in 2019, it was supposed to be revised 5 years later. That would be in 2024. It has never happened. And as far as I'm concerned, nothing is going on right now at Health Canada. And so typically Canadians or Canada or Ottawa promises Canadians to review the guide every 5 years, but we end up with a renewed guide every 10 to 15 years. It's always been like that. And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
But should we follow the US in your opinion? Should we, as a Canadian, so let me ask you this, I'll rephrase my question. As a Canadian that's out there, should you follow the Canadian guide or should you look to the American guide?
I think that our guide should be embedded in our own agri-food reality, in that if we are to put anything on there, we have to guarantee Canadians that they will have access to these products in an affordable fashion, 12 months a year. Avocados, we don't make. We don't make almonds. So what's going on here?
Yeah.
And make the food guide about food, not about the environment or anything else.
I can agree with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think that there's a value in, because it seems to me, say like RFK is talking about whole foods, that seems to be almost like a completely separate way to discuss food and eating than saying portions or proportions or whatnot. And we don't do the 4 food groups anymore, but the food is still in groups. It's still protein. It's still grains. It's
Well, RFK's play. I mean, RFK's play. I have to say, early on in 2025, RFK really, because he started to hammer against canola and grains, and a lot of farmers were upset with Trump and with Kennedy. By the way, this reversal or this new twist today will get Trump's base back in step, I would say. Because, I mean, I was actually at Purdue University in October. And gentlemen, you wouldn't believe how many farmers like in Indiana, okay, Trump's base, they were all upset with him because of what was going on with China, with input costs. I mean, it's not pretty right now in U.S. farmland. But today's announcement, I think, is going to go very well and will actually get farmers back into the fold for Trump. And he needs that base. So politically, there's a story there too.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me if you just tell someone only eat real food and don't even talk about anything else, no group, no proportions, if they just follow that advice, they're probably more likely to be, in my opinion, I think they're more likely to be. I think you just have a bigger margin of error. It's harder to eat. It'd be very difficult to eat really poorly if all you ever do is the only rule you live by is eat real food.
Yeah, but I mean, let's be honest, just among ourselves tonight, gentlemen. I mean, once in a while,
Well, of course,
we should allow
you
ourselves to
got
indulge a little bit, don't we?
you got to have that the
You know,
ice
that
cream
bag of
or
chips.
the
Like over the
yeah, of
holidays, did you
course.
guys
I
just
don't think
eat
that's
salad and turkey? Come on.
I
yeah,
don't eat
exactly.
salad.
Wow,
Salad's for
there was
women.
there
I
was
say that to my wife
there
all
was a
the
lot of
time. I ate so much salad as a vegetarian and vegan. I won't eat any more salad for the rest of my life. I've ate enough.
Once
mean,
in
there
a
was a lot of
while, I
turkey.
think it's important for people to indulge a little bit and treat
Yep.
themselves. I think we're all human beings. That's the important thing to recognize. And
Yep.
we all have our weaknesses, our strength, and good on you that you actually are disciplined and exercise. I exercise. I don't think I exercise as much as you guys, but I exercise on a regular basis. And I try to, we're careful what we eat as a family, but not every family has the luxury. I mean, I know some single moms with 3 jobs. How can you possibly think of nutrition when you're trying to survive?
Yeah, no doubt.
Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
cost is definitely playing a role. That's for damn sure.
Absolutely correct.
Well, thank you, sir. Hey, by the way, quick something that has nothing to do with the interview, but I was doing research for a picture of you for a thumbnail the other day. Do you have a twin? Am I on crack, or you actually have a twin?
I have a clone.
Do you actually? So you know who he's talking about?
I have a twin, but he's an identical twin as well. So he's got the same DNA as I have, and his name is Patrick. And so no, you're not hallucinating. He lives in Trois-Rivières, Quebec.
Okay.
He's a great dude, and yeah, we spend the holidays together. And he works in Trois-Rivières for a bank, and I think he's richer than all 3 of us combined. So he's doing very well.
Yeah. Nice. Well,
Yeah.
why
So
do
that's
you
what I
ask that,
thought.
Nico? Did you stumble across?
Like I said, I was.
like him?
No, I was doing some research for a thumbnail. I wanted a good picture of Sylvain, and I saw him with next to another dude. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, okay.
Does he actually have it? So that's why I asked. Because
you saw a picture of both him and I.
Yes. You were running. I think you were running, or you just finished running, or something like that.
So he's a runner. He actually runs.
Yeah, I figured.
He did the. He's incredibly healthy. He actually ran. Get this. He ran in 2017. He ran the world class marathon, which is 7 marathons over 7 consecutive days on 7 different continents.
What? That's wild. That's
just think about so Chile.
So
he flew into Chile, then Miami, and then Spain, Dubai. I think it was Beijing, Singapore, Melbourne. I'm forgetting Antarctica. I started with Antarctica, and then after that, Chile. But in 7 days,
different days in a row.
He ran
in a row
in Antarctica.
Yeah, exactly.
That's wild.
So it's on the web. You can look it up, and he's the only. He was the first Canadian to do it, but this is the most screwed up thing about this. His average time was 3 hours and 2 minutes per marathon. His average time. Yeah.
That's
Jesus.
wild, man. So how many people in the world have ever done this?
So now I think so he did it in 2017. I believe 3 other Canadians have done it now. And so, but every year, so obviously they charter a plane. You have to spend, I think the price tag,
probably
like I said, it's 72,000 euros to be in this race. And you basically, and most runners actually have sponsorships. And so you go on that plane and you fly around the world for 7 days and to run 7 marathons, and you have you have a bed and a therapist and all the people you need to go from one marathon to another. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Well, again, Sylvain, thank you very much for joining us. It was super last minute too, so thank you.
My
I'm
pleasure.
looking forward to having you again, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Keep up the good work, folks.
Absolutely.
Bye. See you later, man.
And there you go. It's
great to have the food professor.
I'm literally doing some research earlier. I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if I invited Sylvain to talk about the new guideline? And he's like, 15 minutes before the show, he responds like, is it too late? I'm like, no. So I literally got an answer. Yep. So
yeah, I like at this point now.
I always like to have him on.
Yes, it's not even like an interview per se. It's just like having a buddy on the show and you just kind of shoot the shit.
Yep. No, he's I like him. I like him. I'm biased. I like him. I might not agree with everything that he says, but I like the personality and that's crazy what he said about his brother. Jesus. 7 marathons on 7 continents, 7 days in a row.
That's wild. I've heard of for climbers, mountain climbers, there's the 7 peaks where you do climb the highest mountain on each
but it's
continent.
not 7 days in a row.
No, you don't do it in 7 days.
Crazy.
No. It might take I think it usually takes a couple of years.
Yes.
But that is crazy. 7 fucking days. A marathon? What's a marathon? Like 21 miles or 30 miles or something? 42
kilometers, 45. It's 21 miles,
that's
so 42 something kilometers. Yeah, man. It's oh shit. Yeah, you know what? Before that's funny. I love how commenters are reminding me about our sponsor. Thank you, Wilf. I appreciate that. Today's episode of The Political Orphans brought to you by Gabble, the world's first video debate app on the market. You can choose to watch, or you can do like I do and debate others. I was there earlier today debating people talking about if Muslim values align with the West. Awesome fucking topic. I absolutely love talking about these things. So if you guys are interested in debating other people, they have 10 different subjects every day. And you get to debate people on, you pick a side, you debate. So if you guys want to try it, the link is in the description below. Download the app. You can do it from your phone. So absolutely great. All I was going to say before we go to the next topic is that there's a video on YouTube. I don't know if it's still there, but it's about a Canadian mountain climber. The guy is absolutely insane. Marc-André something. He's from Vancouver.
Okay.
Brother, that dude, I'm going to ruin the movie for the people out there, but he dies. Like, it's pretty obvious. Like, you just need to research the guy before the movie. You're going to find out that he's dead. But the guy used to climb.
Did he die
alone?
Climbing?
Yeah, he disappeared. They don't know where he is. He literally used to go to the craziest peaks on the planet by himself. No, there's a guy, the guy that recorded the documentary about him. I think it took him 3 to 4 years because he kept on disappearing. The guy did not have social media, did not have a cell phone. The guy just climbed. There's videos of him, man. The guy is climbing peaks that are regular mountain. Then he switches to frozen water, and then he goes back to frozen mountain regular. It's crazy. You watched the guy's literally climbing freestyle, no gear, like no attachment. The guy's nuts. He just has the big hooks. Have you ever seen people climb mountains that are frozen? He has the big hooks on his shoulders as he's climbing freestyle. No rope, changing from one. Oh, I don't need them here. I hook them. Oh, I need them here. He uses what. The guy is absolutely nuts. So if I don't remember what the name of the documentary is, but if one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, the guy's just crazy in the head. There's something wrong with that guy. There was something wrong with that guy.
I hope it's not the guy I'm thinking of. There was a documentary I watched about. It was about a free climber. I think it might have even been called like Free Climb or something. I don't think he's from BC, but he climbed Yosemite or El Capitan in Yosemite, like just free.
Yeah, just
climbing,
for shits and giggles.
just no ropes, no nothing. Just it's fucking wild, man. It's like autistic as fuck.
No.
I
The
forget his
guy
name.
you're talking about, not only, I think we're talking about the same guy, but he ends up dying. But not only did he
what?
climb not only did he climb El Capitan freestyle, he beat the record without knowing. He wasn't
Yeah.
trying to beat the record.
Yeah.
The guy climbed for himself, but he turned out he smoked the
He just did
record
it for fun.
in freestyle. And the guy that held the record's like, hey, fuck you. He went back to try to beat the record, but he's like, that guy's crazy. Like, you have some of the biggest climbers in the documentary. They're just talking about him. That guy's just, there's nothing like him. They've never seen anything like
What's
him.
his name?
But he died. I'm going to check it out
What's
right
his
now
name?
just because now I'm, hold on.
Yeah. Fuck, I hope it's not the guy that I'm thinking of.
It's Marc-André or
sounds like it.
Marc-Antoine something. It's called The Alpinist is the name of the movie. It's Marc-André
Okay.
Leclerc. Sounds like a French dude, but he's English from BC. If
Yeah.
you guys, he's from Chilliwack in Vancouver area. So if you guys want to see a fucking cool documentary, The Alpinist on Netflix.
Marc-André Leclerc.
Yeah, like he died in 2018
Wow.
at the age of 25 years
Yeah,
old. And the guy just, it's insane how that guy was just a phenom, like just crazy, absolutely nuts. But if you guys are readers, if you guys are book readers, read the book called The Rise of the Superman. It's a journalist that wrote a book about mountain climbers and how they are pushing the envelope so much because their life depend on it, that they're accessing parts of the brain that we don't access, that they so hyper focused because one bad move means you die, that they're kind of superhumans. It's very
That's
cool. The book
wild.
is awesome. The documentary is awesome. So The Alpinist, watch The Alpinist. Okay, I'm done about that. Last thing I wanted to talk was just,
I'm gonna look that up because
I'm gonna watch it again. I've watched it a few times. I just really like that documentary. Before I let you guys go, we might be late 5-10 minutes just because I wanted to cover this because it actually matters for especially the people of Alberta. One of the reasons why they should be separating. But while Carney welcomes Venezuela oil as our low carbon oil will be competitive, Trump posted this yesterday announcing, I am pleased to announce that the interim authorities in Venezuela will be turning over between 30 to 50 million barrels of high quality sanctioned oil to the United States of America. This oil will be sold at its market price, and that money will be controlled by me as President of the United States of America to ensure that it is used to benefit the people of Venezuela and the United States. I have asked Energy Secretary Chris Wright to execute this plan immediately. It will be taken by storage ship and brought directly to unloading docks in the United States. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So if you guys remember 2 days ago, we did a deep dive on what was happening there and how this would impact Alberta. And just so you guys, I just want to give a little refresher, but basically what he's saying right here is that he's importing 50 million barrels of Venezuela oil, no pipeline, no carbon tax, and of course, no tariff, just good old market price oil. And if you guys remember, we have a $170 billion industry with the US. We export 97% of our oil, of our crude oil to the US. That's $170 billion a year. And I don't know if you remember, but I was explaining that there's two main markets in the US. You have the Midwest, which is about 62% of our oil goes there. That's not the part that we're talking about. This would take 10, 15 years to replace because there's no docks. You need pipelines, and Canada has the pipelines already built. So it's going to take a long time to replace it. But the problem that we're looking at here is about 20% of the US, or 20% of our exports go to the Gulf Coast, which this is what Trump is talking about here, that you can bring in through tankers because it's right on the coast. There's no need for pipelines, and they bring it to Texas. Those are the same refineries that Alberta uses to refine their high sulfur oil, just like Venezuela. So not only is he bringing in millions of barrels cheap with no tariff, no carbon price, no green agenda bullshit pricing added to it, but he's sending them to the same infrastructure that Alberta uses. And we're talking the low estimates right now, like analysts from I think it was TD. At least there's a guy by the name of Charles Saint Arnaud, used to work for the Bank of Canada, estimates that 10% of our exports are at risk right now. Not 5 years from now, right now. That could be replaced because Canada produces about 400,000 to 500,000 barrel a year, that goes to the Gulf Coast. And just with the announcement of Trump taking over the infrastructure in Venezuela, we are looking at the WCS. I don't know if you know what the Western Canadian Select discount is, but the Americans are not giving us market value for crude oil because of its high sulfur
below the market.
So normally on a good day is like $13.60 off of a barrel. So we're removing, if the barrel is around $75, they're paying about, just since yesterday. I wrote a post about this yesterday. This industry that we're talking, that 20% that serves the Gulf Coast, was worth about $32.9 billion. Overnight, it went from a $13.60 rebate to a $14.45 rebate. Overnight, just by Trump saying, of course it is.
Yeah,
so
I mean, that's...
we're really talking about replacing 10% of their oil, of Alberta oil, overnight, because just those 50, I have those numbers somewhere. I believe that the 50 million barrels that he's introducing, that he's bringing to the US, is replacing a few months, because if they're taking about 4 to 50, so you're talking 2 months, between 2 to 3 months supply now, they're going to get it from Venezuela. They won't need it from Alberta. And it's estimated too, in the short run, analysts from Citi and TD are saying that all Trump needs to do is lift blockades, fix basic infrastructure, and Venezuela could add a 500,000 per day more barrels. So you're talking 182 million more barrel a year. And they're producing, remember we were talking about this, they're producing about 1 million a day. So 365 a year. They could go to over 500 overnight. Not overnight, but before the end of the year. So you're talking about replacing that whole sector, that whole 2019 to 20% could be gone this year. That's insane. That's $32.9 billion a year that could be removed from Alberta's economy. They estimate that, their estimate is that if they invest, but listen to this is what's messed up. In the long run, in a few years, if they invest between about 100 to 180 billion dollars, they could go to the Venezuela peak, which was 3.5 million barrels a day, which is 1.2 billion barrels a year, and Alberta produces 1.5 billion. So within a few years, they'd be able to almost completely replace Alberta by just going back to their high producing days from the 90s.
Well, so it's also, I feel like people get confused when they say replace. It's not going to be replaced. There's, like, we sell right now 4 million barrels of oil to the United States every day. We're still going to sell 4 million barrels. What's going to happen is we're going to get a lot less money for those 4 million barrels. It's not like there will be any scenario where the U.S. does not need more oil. They always need oil. It's just the price will be a lot less. Like that number you just gave, the basically the discount that we get, it went from 13 to, it went down by $1 or something.
Almost.
Which
It
means
went from 1360 to 1445 from yesterday, like overnight.
so
Literally.
that's $1.20. That's $1.20 difference, which means
No.
get $1.20 less. Or is it 80
It's less
cents?
than that's like 85. It's 85 cents.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I got you. Okay. And that's one day, right? So, I mean, if you calculate that's 85 cents less per barrel, which people might not sound like a lot, but that's 4 million. That's $3.4 million a day. And then if you multiply that by a year, that's $1.24 billion just in one day that we're getting sucked out of Alberta's economy. And that's one day. Like maybe it's $2, $3, $4, $5 in the next couple of weeks. Now we're talking real money. So yeah, this it's not like we're going to be sitting there with just barrels of oil on our hands and nothing to do. It's just we might have to sell it for $30 or $20 less than the market price, or than what we're expecting to sell it for. Because remember, they're doing these projections years and decades out. So all the numbers that we're given for the economy and all the budgets that the political or the each political cabinet member has to present to the prime minister, that's all based on projections. And if we're losing billions of dollars in projected money we thought we were going to have and now we don't, that's going to fuck everything up.
Of course it will. And remember what Carney wants to do. He wants to add a carbon tax on the provincial level in Alberta. He wants to add the pathway carbon capture project fees added to this. And by my calculation, you're looking at over 20% increase in price compared to the world market. So we can't compete. We're talking about the exact same oil too. That's the problem, right? Venezuela has about the same content of high sulfur in their oil. Their crude oil needs to be cleaned, just like ours. And they have the infrastructure already in place that we use, because we don't use our refineries in Canada. And the estimates are saying that to build a new large-scale refinery in Canada today would cost between $15 to $25 billion. It would take about 10 years to build.
Permitting.
But listen to this, 10 years to build, 30 years to pay off. So do you think that a guy in Mark Carney that's pushing his 2050 WEF green agenda is going to invest $15 to $25 billion over 10 years to have 30 years to repay it? Never gonna fucking happen. So we are not in a good spot. Like Alberta is, if there was something that might have pushed Albertans over it, that might be it. Because Carney's not doing anything about it. Carney is kind of laughing, saying that he is welcoming the competition from Venezuela.
Yeah, that's I don't know if that's the right I mean, hopefully he's just doing that for the cameras, and behind the scenes he understands that this is a serious issue, a serious threat that needs to be taken seriously.
I'm just going to take this one before we go. Venezuela can pump about 1 million barrels a day. Alberta pumps 4 million a day, so we're not worrying about nothing. Yeah, you clearly did not listen to what I said. In its peak in the 90s, Venezuela was pumping 1.2 barrels a day. Sorry, they were pumping 1.2 billion barrels compared to the 1.8 Canada's pumping right now. But their reserve is a lot bigger than ours. They're almost twice the oil reserve that we have. And I guarantee you that the US will invest that money. They will invest a shit ton of money to rebuild that infrastructure, because even their power grid is shit in Venezuela and it cannot handle a lot more.
No, they'd have to upgrade. They'd have to upgrade a lot.
But they will pay for it. You're talking about a lot of American jobs and a lot of Venezuelan job and a lot of corporate profit. So believe me, they will invest that money. Alberta needs to be very worried over the next 3 to 10 years. Because I'm telling you, man, just by the estimates are saying 10% literally by the end of the year is what we're talking about that Alberta could lose. And that is, we're talking about $13 billion, give or take. 13 to 17 billion, depending on where the the price, is the reduction that the US get going up, because that portion is going to be smaller. But we're talking about last year would have been about 16 to 17 billion dollars. That's the equivalent that they're going to use. They will potentially lose by the end of the year. That's not a small feat, man. That's like 10%.
No.
That's a lot. So yeah, quick update on what we've been talking about, and I'll keep bringing those up as they come up. But I love the show today. Great debate on if I should have shot that woman, food professor, last minute. And
then
more Trump stuff.
Yeah, no, that was good. That was a good show. Good topics. All right, guys, we're gonna put a pin in there. If you are just tuning in and you want to support the show, you can please consider becoming a member. You can do that through YouTube for the low price of $2.99 per month. You can also buy us a coffee, which you can see in your upper right-hand side of your screen. And the other way you can support us is keep coming back. Throw those comments in there, and we'll get to them. Other than that, folks, have a great night. We will catch you, and we'll close off the week tomorrow night, the Thursday show. And then remember, we're moving to 7 p.m. Eastern time next week. Yes.
Starting on Sunday. Good point. Good for you.
Sundays, yeah. That's right.
Good for you. On that note, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah, you like balls, all right. Bye.
Yeah, I'm on all the balls.